Well, good morning and welcome back to our final fabulous segment here on Cityline. I know that from the first time you saw the wide shot, you've been wanting me to get to this segment. Well, here it is. Please join me, and she needs no introduction, of welcoming back Lua Pritchard. You are the Executive Director of the Asia Pacific Cultural Center and one of my favorite people in the world.
Thank you, Amanda. Hello. It's always nice to be here with you.
It's always great to see you. You give the best hugs, but you also, you just have this infectious energy about you.
Thank
and I
you.
know this woman over here behind the table knows also. Linda Wang, thank you for being here, my dear. You are a Taste of Asia presenter, and we're going to have a little sampling of what you do best in a few minutes. Good to see you, my dear. All right, Lua, let's talk about your campaign is a one heart, one home to build. When you were on here last time, and I think, gosh, for the past 2 or 3 times, we've talked about the building. We had the plans up, what it would look for. And I asked you to come back and check in with us, and here you are.
Thank you.
How's it going?
It's doing very well, and we want to thank the entire community of Asia Pacific people and all of our non-Asia Pacific families and friends and partners and sponsors. It's just been wonderful. We're at full committed of 80% of the campaign at this time, and we just have 20% more to go, and we're hoping to finish by July of this year. So it's wonderful. It's a great feeling.
Congratulations.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so I want to break it down into some real straight talk. When you say 80%,
Yes.
give us the number. How much
So
have you
that's a
raised?
little over 13 million that we've got fully committed. And then we just have 3 million more to go. So because the construction cost will cost almost close to 17.
Only you can sit there and say, and we only have 3 million to go. And I know that there are people right now who are listening who go, yes, I'll be a part of that million.
Yes.
Because that's just who you are.
Yeah.
APCC, which is, of course, Asia Pacific Cultural Center. I always want to get that out there because I've lived here forever and I call it APCC. You received an award earlier this month for your Lincoln District Senior Housing Project.
Yes.
So it's more than what we see.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, that's a $39 million project, and it's fully funded.
Oh, my
So the news that you all got was to announce that it's fully funded. And we thank, all of the government jurisdictions who came up and stepped up to plate. City of Tacoma, Pierce County, the state of Washington, and the federal. So it's really, really great. We just love it. The support is going to be 78 units of senior low-income housing.
Oh, my
And
gosh.
all kinds of different activities will be there for the seniors. We're just going to make it a fabulous, wonderful, unique senior low-income project.
So where is the project now? Is it in breaking ground, or are we just getting details tightened?
So now that we're fully funded, we're working on groundbreaking matters, because
Yes.
there's a lot of paperwork that we are dealing with government. We have to do a lot of paperwork. So we have to get all that, the permitting done and demolition to be scheduled to be done, all that kind of stuff. So as early as April, people will start seeing things moving.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that is just, now, in addition to that, you're also working on a new center. So it's not like you just have one thing going, Lua. Oh my gosh, when do you sleep?
Oh, well, God provides all the time.
So Samoa is the host country for this year's New Year's celebration at the Tacoma Dome. What can we expect?
Oh, you can expect over 300 dancers on the stage and around the stage area, marching in, screaming and hollering in a cultural way that, Samoa is here.
Haka. You're talking about
So haka is New Zealand.
New Zealand,
Yeah.
right.
But the fatopati is
Yes,
Samoan. Yes.
there it
So there'll
is.
be slap dances. Yeah, the village dances. The village dance is what's going to have so many people in it. So about 7 churches in Pierce County and Lacey are involved. So certain members of youth from those churches are making up that 300.
That is
Yeah,
impressive.
it's fabulous. And it'll be an hour and a half worth of ongoing cultural, direct, unique, authentic cultural teachings.
I love
So you got to be there. You
Well,
have to be there.
Speaking of teachings, I told you in the green room. Last night, I'm laying in bed thinking about the show, close out Google, and then I think, okay, it's time for me to get my brain to think about culture. And I go to your Facebook website. There are people dancing between sticks, learning how to dance. And let me tell you, that did not put me to sleep. That I was mesmerized by this. It's always, education is in everything that the Asia Pacific Cultural Center does.
Yeah.
You are always teaching us how to learn about a different culture. And that, to me, is priceless. Now, let's talk about food. Because food is the great uniter.
Yeah.
Talked about that in the first segment.
Can't do without food.
We can't do without food. And you've announced a Taste of Asia culinary experience. So what country are we featuring this month?
For February, we're hosting for China.
Okay.
So we're going to display today for China. And for the Taste of Asia, we've been doing it for so many years because we want to do a little taste of different countries from Asia and the Pacific about how to do a certain recipe. So people actually go home with a recipe and they will know where to go get the food items and the ingredients of the recipe. And so the people who do present the cooking are from those countries. And a lot of times they will tell a little history of their countries behind it as well. And it used to be a tea ceremony, but we've now added food to it, so it's tea and food together.
And
every first Saturday of the month.
And that's going back to that wonderful education component
Yes.
that we talk about, that step into this culture, learn about our customs, and taste some of the great food. Now, yes, I've changed spots. I want to get face-to-face and snuggled here with Miss Linda. Linda, you are part of the Taste of Asia,
Yes.
In-person culinary experience. What dish are you preparing? I got to say, smell-o-vision. I wish you could smell this table. It is so savory. It's making my nose run and my mouth water. Okay, so what are you making us?
I am going to make one of the famous Chinese New Year dish. It's called pearl meatball.
Pearl meatball. So why did you choose this dish and why is it famous?
Yeah, because for Chinese New Year, food played a big part.
Yes.
So even for a small family of 4, generally we will provide about 10 dishes on the table. And nowadays they order from the restaurant. But this is one of the dishes since I was a child, my mother assigned me to do because it's so easy and it's so tasty. It is also one of the famous dishes in China because it made it to one of our favorite food critics in Qing Dynasty. And he even talked about this dish, and then also the Empress love this dish as well too.
This dish got the royal seal of approval.
Yes, got a royal seal approval.
And so who taught you how to make this?
My mom taught me.
Your mom taught you.
Yes,
I
so
love
this
that.
is one among all the 10 dishes. It's only one I do every year.
Oh, but you know what? I always say if you're going to do one thing, do it well.
Yeah.
And I'm ready. Okay, so tell me what we're going to do here.
Right. So this dish is actually very simple because it starts with ground pork.
Okay.
So this is what the ground pork look like when it's from supermarket. So just pork, nothing else. in
Nothing
there.
else.
Right. And so the trick about making the ground pork juicy and also tender, this is what I'm going to learn about in class.
Okay.
And I call it labor a lot because all you do, for about 20 minutes.
Okay.
20 minutes. And you put some salt
Okay.
in the pot.
All right. You have to come to the class to get the amounts
Yeah.
here. Okay.
And then you stir with chopstick in general. And then the meantime, gradually adding chicken stock inside.
Chickens. Oh, of course.
And you repeat this action for about 20 minutes.
It's like a pork risotto. You have to keep stirring it
Oh,
and add
exactly.
liquid.
Adding your labor of love here.
That's right.
Right.
This is great.
And then after 20 minutes, you see the difference between
Oh, yeah.
before and after.
It does.
Right? It become like sticky and glued together. That's how we make the meatball juicy and chewy in texture.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then is this, well, how does that turn into that?
Right. So from there, after you turn into this texture, then you adding your ginger.
Oh, yes.
And make sure you chop it small so you don't taste the pieces inside.
Yeah, that's right. 'Cause
It's
it can
only
be
for
bitter if they're
flavor.
big, yeah.
Right. And one of my mom's secret weapons.
What is it?
This is chestnut, water chestnut.
chestnuts.
Yeah, so give this meatball a little bit texture and crunchiness
And moisture.
and moisture
Yeah.
in there. And usually you can find them in the can and you chop it up very fine in
Okay.
there too.
All right.
And then the last thing that's a major flavor component is actually the green onion.
That is what we have been smelling all morning.
Yes, yes.
It's incredible.
Yes. So I want to talk about onion a little bit because you see the onion have the green part
Yep.
and the white part.
Right.
And this recipe, we only use the white part.
And we keep that for something else.
Oh,
later
we
on.
use that for garnish.
That's right.
Chinese
Okay.
never waste food. Never.
course not.
Everything we use.
I love that.
Yeah, and they put onion in there.
Okay. So we have about a minute left.
Okay,
So,
and then we have white pepper,
oh, there you go.
sesame seed oil,
Oh, yummy.
rice wine,
There we go.
and you mix together and poof, poof. And then I love to use ice cream scoop because it gives you an even,
Smart.
yeah, and then you don't have to touch the meat, right?
There we go.
And you scoop it up and put in the rice.
Ah, and then this is the pearl rice.
Yes. Oh, this is the rice that in market you can find is called sweet rice.
Okay.
And then you soak overnight in the water, drain the water, and you put on the plate. And I line the lettuce root on there because it prevents the stickiness, so you can have
Yes.
the whole thing there.
And look at these beautiful.
Yes.
This is bok choy
and the
look-
rabbit.
The rabbit.
Yeah,
Where are
in
the
the class.
rabbits?
Yeah, in the class, I will teach you
All right.
how to make from boiled egg to rabbit.
Let's get a shot of this because we need to say goodbye. But I want people
Yeah,
to see.
so this is final product. After you steam about 20 minutes, here's a little TV magic right there.
Thank you for coming on and sharing all
Yeah.
your wonderful family secrets.
Yeah, thank
Well, that wraps up another great segment of Cityline. It is always a pleasure and a privilege to be in your home. We've given you some great things to think about, so please go out there, be a part of the tapestry, be a part of our culture, and above all, pay it forward. And when you come back, I'll be waiting for you right here on Cityline. Take care.
Come on, that's my home, from the fire through the door. Come on, that's my home, yeah, to come on, that's my home. Come on, that's my home, place I call my own. Come on, that's my home, yeah, to come on, that's my home. All right, you're from the East Coast, all right, you're from the West, all right, you're from the middle, but Tacoma still the best. All right, you're from the East South Tacoma.